My name is V. Dinesh, and the topic is mobility and connectivity, and the subject is applied physics. Career mobility. Connectivity is proportional to the product of mobility and career concentration. For example, the same connectivity could come from a small number of electrons with high mobility for each, or a large number of electrons with a small mobility for each. On the other hand, for semiconductors, the behavior of transistors and other devices can be very different depending on whether there are many electrons with low mobility or few electrons with high mobility. Therefore, mobility is a very important parameter for semiconductor materials. Almost always, higher mobility leads to better device performance with other things equal. Dopants in an intrinsic semiconductor perform two major functions. First one is they increase carrier concentration of a particular polarity, that is electrons or holes, so that the overall conductivity is higher. Usually this is orders of magnitude higher than the intrinsic semiconductor and is dominated by either electrons or holes, that is the majority carriers. Dopes, and the second one is dopants also stabilize stabilize carrier concentration around room temperature. For silicon, the saturation regime extends from roughly 60 Kelvin to 560 Kelvin. Consider the general conductivity equation. Sigma is equal to Ne into mu A plus Pe into mu H. And consider this as first equation for extrinsic semiconductors with either N naught P much higher than the Y naught carrier concentration. Equation 1 can be written as in N type sigma is equal to N A mu, and P type sigma is equal to P E mu H. Mu E and mu H are drift mobilities of the carriers. They are given by mu E is equal to E into T E by M into E. Mu H is equal to E into T H by M into H. The drift mobilities are the function of temperature, and in extrinsic semiconductors, they depend on a dopant concentration. This dependence comes from the scattering time Te and Th, which is the time between two scattering events. Another way of writing scattering time is in terms of scattering cross section S. This is given by T is equal to 1 by S into width width uh, width into Ns. That is fourth equation, where width v width is the mean speed of the electrons, that is thermal velocity, and Ns is the number of scatters per unit volume. The role of scatters and the effect of mobility can be considered by considering the two main types of scatters: lattice atoms, impurities, dopants. Conductivity in extrinsic semiconductors. In intrinsic semiconductors, the only factor that affects mobility is the lattice scattering, so that the mobility always fluctuates with temperature. In extrinsic semiconductors, there are two contributions, lattice mu L and the impurities mu I. So the total mobility is given by Matthiessen's rule, which is 1 by mu A is equal to 1 by mu I plus 1 by mu L. Consider this as fifth equation. The scattering process with the lowest mobility dominates. Also at low temperatures, mobility actually increases with temperature since impurity scattering dominates, while at temperature lattice scattering dominates. This is shown in figure 2. At low dopant concentrations, lattice scattering dominates over the entire temperature range. With increasing dopant concentrations, impurity scattering starts to dominate at low temperature. A similar behavior is also seen for hole mobility. Experimental measurements of electron and hole mobilities in silicon as a function of temperature are shown in figure 3 and confirm this behavior. Also, at constant temperature, the mobility decreases with increasing dopant concentration, since there is greater concentration of impurities, as shown in figure 4. Looking at the looking at the temperature dependence of conductivity, both the carrier concentration change and mobility change with temperature and influence Hall mobility. Carrier mobility is most commonly measured using the Hall effect. The result of the measurement is called Hall mobility, meaning mobility inferred from a Hall effect measurement. Consider a semiconductor sample with a rectangular cross-section as shown in the figures. A current is flowing in the direction and a magnetic field is applied in Z direction. The resulting Lorentz force will accelerate the electrons, n-type materials or holes, p-type materials in the negative y-axis direction, according to a right-hand rule, and set up an electric field epsilon y. As a result, there is a voltage across the sample which can be measured with a high impedance voltmeter. This voltage Vh is called Hall voltage. Vh is negative for n-type material and positive for p-type material. Mathematically, the Lorentz force acting on a charge q is given by for electrons Fhn equal to negative of charge into velocity of n into Bz. For holes, force of H in Fhp equal to positive charge into cross product of Vp into Bz. In steady state, this force is balanced by the force set up by the Hall voltage, so that there is no net force on the carriers in the y direction. For electron, F5 vector equal to negative charge of epsilon naught y plus negative charge of cross product of Vn into Bz equals 0. Implies minus q into epsilon naught y plus q into Vx Bz equals 0. Epsilon naught y equal to Vx into Bz. For electrons, the field points in the y direction, and for holes, it points in the positive y direction. The electron current I is given by I is equal to minus q into n into Vz into Tw. Substitute Vx into the expression for epsilon naught phi. Epsilon naught phi equal to minus Ib by Nqtw equal to positive of Rhn I into B by T into W, where Rhn is the Hall coefficient for electron and is defined as Rhn equal to negative of 1 by Nq. Since epsilon naught phi equal to Vh by W, Rhn equal to minus 1 by Nq equal to Vh and T by Ib. Similarly for holes, Rhp equal to 1 by P into Q equal to Vhp into T by I into B. From the Hall coefficient, we can obtain the Kelvin mobility as follows: mu n equal to negative of n into q mu n into negative of 1 by n into q, that is equal to minus sigma n of Rhn is equal to minus sigma n of Vhn into T by I into B. Similarly, mu p equal to sigma p Vhp into T by I into B. Here the value of Vhp Hall voltage and T sample thickness I current and B magnetic field can be measured directly, and the conductivity sigma Nn or sigma p are either known or can be obtained from measuring the resistivity. Thank you everyone.